Good morning, everyone, I guess, or evening or afternoon to everyone watching. I hope this recording reaches you well. I'm here at the lovely Mission Grounds with my two good friends, Leslie Eades and Matt Wagner of Elemental. How you guys doing this morning?
So well.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Yeah.
Good.
Started off sleepy.
Yeah. Started off the new year a little tired. Yeah. But we're walking through these doors, like you said, and seeing our friend Jamie and seeing your face kind of livened us up, and we're ready to go.
Yeah.
Likewise, yeah. I'm never like a morning person.
Yeah.
I had to force myself to be so, but yeah, I'm always just especially in the winter, like just cuddle up in bed. Yeah, I'm not very inspired when I see like the gray day outside and all that, but you just got to force yourself to get out there.
Yeah.
So because it is the new year, I want to ask you guys, what is your perspective on the whole new year? What's your take on that?
I love New Year's. I'm not like a resolution person or anything so much.
Yeah.
But it's a good time just to reset and look at intentions for the year. I like, just the other day we had a conversation like, hey, what do you want to do this year? Like, what are some things that you want to do? And we said a few things. And actually the same night we got an invitation to do something that combined both of those things.
Yeah, that was wild.
Because I said I wanted to run a 50K. And I wanted to hike Mount Mitchell in North Carolina. And that evening, someone asked us to do an ultra marathon, a 50K on Mount Mitchell. And so I'm like,
you can't make that kind of stuff up. Yeah.
But yeah, so I love not setting goals, not saying like I'm going to do that, but saying like I want to do that. And then, seeing how it flows. And it's kind of fun. And I like looking at the year past too. Because a lot happens in a year. Mm-hmm. A lot.
Yeah, especially this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think no matter what, any excuse really for people to take stock and transform, right? And if that means year one, new year, new you type of thing, I think a lot of times it's very easy to kind of like eye roll at that or to be, you know what I mean? But I think I've really grown into the space of just anything. We're big on solstice transitions, seasonal transitions. There's definitely
which we'll talk about later, probably.
Yeah, we will. But the idea of a transition over the new year, if that's what you need to take stock and transform, do it. Go all in. Find other people who are doing the same thing and work together and grow, right? That transform. That's what life is about, is transformation, right?
Yeah. You can't. If it took that new year and for you to transform into hitting your weight loss goal or weight gain goal or
whatever,
running that 5K or anything like that's. You can't laugh at that. That's beautiful. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
This is the first year that I've really actually, and thanks to what you guys will talk about later, something we worked on together. This is my first year that I've really actually been preparing for the season ahead. So not just the month ahead, or like the month ahead, quarter ahead, and the season ahead. So I kind of consider season as warm and cold, not necessarily like the 4 seasons, but really just planning for like the whole thing. And I started that about a month ago, and it's cool now to see the number change in alignment to where I've been thinking.
Yeah.
Like I've been thinking about 23 for the last month. Now it's 23. Now I'm here.
Yeah.
So I guess it's all kind of poetic now that everything I've been thinking about is like January 2. Is January 2nd or the 1st? 2nd?
I think it's the 2nd.
Yeah.
It's the 2nd. Yeah, it is.
And like fresh into 2023.
That's right there too.
26.
Yeah.
Cool. Yes. Fresh into 23. We're here. We're doing this.
Yeah.
So what is your guys' work? What do you guys do?
So we run a platform called Elemental, and we create safe spaces for transformation and courageous conversation. Is what we do. We do that through coaching and retreats and virtual events and even creating, like we were talking about the solstice, creating guides that people can download and use on their own. So having the guide that we produce, using that for someone to create their own safe space to go through their own transformation.
Yeah, like our guided discovery process that we talk about, it's all about going inward and finding your elemental nature. Our retreats are the inner ground, like all of what we do is facilitated around finding that ground and that your elemental nature, what it is that brings you alive, what makes you, and then how do you express that, into the world. Yeah.
That's a lot. So, so you incorporate all this very, very intimately into your lifestyle as well, like your work and your personal lives, or your work and play, if you will, like that,
Yes.
that dynamic. How do you guys balance all of that? Or if you don't necessarily see it as a two, how do you just move in that unified sense?
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely, we integrate. We happen to be so, we happen to be doing so much of what we believe in and turning kind of like what we believe in and how we want to live into a way of sharing that with others and guiding others in doing that. So in some ways, the lines are very blurred between life and work. I was thinking about this yesterday, this idea of living to work or working to live, and I think it's all perspective. Like for us, we love what we do. Like when we go deep within ourselves and work on ourselves kind of like every day and want to do that and love to do it, it kind of becomes fun. You know what I mean? Like it is kind of like fun to do this, and it is like it does, bring us alive to do what we do, because we're constantly doing that work to determine what it is that brings us alive, and then incorporating that into our lives, and that's what we're doing for a living now too. So it really is kind of a beautiful, and it doesn't really feel like something that needs, it sort of finds its own balance, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, but it's a lot of, I think, conscious awareness to how we're living and what we're doing, and a lot of reflection. And we'll produce at least twice a year, we produce documents that are available for people to download for free. They're Solstice Self-Enquiry Guide. So it's a guide that focuses on has journal prompts, so that we invite people to answer the prompts, and the whole intention is to reflect on what you've been doing for the last season and then reset for the upcoming season. So we actually go through our own processes to reset, and so we'll ask ourselves, like, what have we been doing the last few months that's brought us joy? How can we keep doing that moving forward? What's something we've been doing the last few months that is just like not doing it for us, and how can we replace that? Or and it just depends, and depending on like the time of the day, month, year, that can look different. And so, and we practice compassion too, and being able to change our minds.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's,
and boundaries are important for keeping that balance between like life and work and what we do, because when let's say, for instance, something that we do is breath work, and if you're spending all of your time teaching others to do it, right, then you aren't like kind of sometimes doing it for yourself. So we set aside time, early in the mornings to do a yoga. I mean, Leslie's a yoga instructor, so if she's always teaching yoga, she doesn't like have a practice for herself. So we set those boundaries to then also take classes. You know what I mean? Like that's ways that we can kind of make it ours and use what we do as like rejuvenating, for ourselves. And then,
and I don't know, that made me think of something too. Almost everything we do, I think I'd consider us, teachers in it and students in it.
Yeah, right.
Like we're both. And that's the beauty of what we do too with our retreats and with the coaching processes. Like we're in it with people. Like we're transforming and learning just as much as anyone that we're working with.
Oh yeah.
I was going to bring that up. Like it sounds like you have you guys are students as well as the teachers, and that I think is very, very important. The ability to actually listen and to grow. I know on our experience with the guided discovery, like I mentioned a couple answers and you guys went, well, I didn't think about that, or possible some I don't know how much I want to give away about the actual thing itself, but some things involved in it, and that possibly opened your mind to other options within that, which was I think that I value that. I got more value out of that as a I guess student, and student. I got more value out of that because I know you guys were open to that, which is something I never quite have seen before and didn't even know to value yet. So I greatly appreciate that in you guys. And something I think about too is as a leader, something I'm studying and something I'm trying to really live into. Right. As a leader, I've learned the question, when do you listen or when do you follow? Like when can you be led?
Right.
And it sounds like you guys already got that, not necessarily figured out, but very much so intimately with that.
Yeah, I mean, I would stop just short of saying we have it figured out, and say that we like you just mentioned, like recognize that, right? We recognize and understand that, like, that being a student and a teacher at the same time is so important because we can learn every client we take on, every retreat that we host, right? Everything that we do in that way, we go into that with a mindset that we're going to learn and grow just as much as she said, and as Leslie said, and we've had so many experiences of growth. And I think that's what we look for, right? I mean, we hire coaches, right? We're coaches, we hire coaches, we plan retreats, we go to retreat. We're looking for those spaces, right? Where everyone is there together to kind of learn and grow together, because we want our mentors and our coaches and the people in our lives to be in a state of constant growth as well, because that's where we're going to learn from them, they're going to learn from us, and we're all going to grow together. That's the whole point. Yeah.
Man. So what are some things that bring you guys alive just in your life and business?
Yeah.
I love that question.
Yeah, we do. We ask it all the time.
And you guys asked me that question too.
Yeah.
That's where I got it from.
Yeah.
Turning the tables
I love
a little bit.
it.
I love it. Yeah.
I mean, what we're doing right now, this is bringing me alive.
Yeah.
Drinking coffee, that brings me alive. And it's also, drinking coffee is an experience.
Yeah.
It really is. I could talk for 2 hours about that, but that, and then I think yoga practice, trail running brings me alive. Endurance, doing anything endurance sport related brings me alive. It's also quite difficult, but I enjoy that. Those are my quick, what brings me alive. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I love motion, right? I love movement, right? And so that's really important to me, and movement helps me find my non-movement, as well. I mean, it's whenever, but I appreciate it the times whenever I'm not moving. But I love, like Leslie said, I love running, especially trail running. Whenever I'm out running, I say this a lot. But it's so true. It's when I'm running and I'm in flow running, I just love everybody and everything. It's such a place of symbiosis to me, and I love it, and I love conversation, real conversation, because there's a movement to that, right? Almost like a pitch and catch, like a back and forth. And I just love that. And I live for those moments when in conversation, I say something out loud that I didn't know I knew, whenever the conversation, something inside of you changes because of the person that you're talking to, and you find something inside yourself you didn't know was there, right? I live for those moments, and I live to work out and move with others, right? So that's always just so much fun for me, and brings me alive to watch someone else have an aha moment, right? I guess I just said something I didn't necessarily know I knew. I was talking about my own aha moment. I love having those moments, and then I love seeing it in another person, right? To look at someone in the face when they go, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's so good. And we have that with you all the time, and I love that. That's why we love talking to you. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I love seeing people live, and no pun intended here, but people live in their element.
Yeah.
I love seeing that. That's something that brings me alive. And being here with you guys and seeing you guys talk about, something I talk about or think about often is the difference between the seeing and the telling, the storytelling, show don't tell.
Yeah.
And the irony of seeing you guys tell your stories about being alive and your experiences and how you integrate your work into your life is the both coming together at the same time. I just think it's beautiful and wonderful. So I agree with you. Yes, this is also bringing me alive as well.
Yeah.
So given all the information you've shared thus far, what are your opinions on the idea for the spiritual net worth is about how you're living, basically? What's the sum of your experiences in your life and the spiritual vibration and all that stuff. So given all the information thus far, where do you think you are with your spiritual net worth, individually, collectively, in relationship and business? What do you think?
Whoa.
God, another beautiful question.
Yeah.
I mean, my gut answer is I feel like my spiritual net worth individually and collectively is abundant. It's abundant, it's big, it's everything. Because we kind of see, and I see money, time, energy, I see these all as just like it's all energy, it's all resources.
Yeah, resources. That's what I was thinking
and
too.
even
I love it.
like
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not just talking about money, but like money specifically is like such an energetic transaction for us. Like it's in like investing in ourselves financially, investing in other people financially, we feel like that is always coming back, and so it builds on this like overall abundance that we have. And but my spiritual abundance, spiritual wealth, I think that's one of the resources we have that's just infinitely powerful, accessible at any time. You know, that like that power, that love. I have a faith statement that I read every morning that I developed, and it's all about that like place. I would love to share it with you sometime. I
Yeah,
don't have
I'd
it
love to
with
see
me
that.
now, but I will send it to you because I think it really, maybe that's my spiritual net worth. There's my faith statement, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And personally, when I think of spiritual net worth, I think abstractly and visually, you know, and like I picture almost like, you know, like a cup, like this coffee cup or whatever. And I know the cup is a well used, you know, analogy for these things, but that it's just every day getting a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. It's a space, right? And so, and I just think of like my spiritual net worth is constantly expanding, right? And expanding, and every time it expands, then I can feel it a little bit more, you know what I mean? And then I can kind of sort through those things, you know, and it's not just like the container getting bigger, but also like getting rid of some things and making space for other things to move in. So it's like, it's kind of a sorting out, but that's kind of how I visualize like my net worth. I think I feel really full, you know, like in a good way, you know, like really full, but knowing that the vessel that I am and the container and the space that I make I'm going to constantly grow it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And by addition or subtraction, you know, one or the other. And so, yeah, but I feel like, yeah, I love where I'm at right now with I think my spiritual net worth is really high, and it's just right for me, you know? Yeah.
Those are both lovely answers. Wow. Was there a time that you think it's somewhat of an obvious question, but do you think there's a time that was somewhat lower, or maybe you just weren't making the right moves, you weren't quite in the right space to fully capitalize on your cup or on your spirituality statement? What was it called?
Faith statement.
Faith statement. There you go. I like that. So do you think there's a time where maybe things just weren't quite in alignment, whether that be recently or years and years ago?
Yeah. I think for me, I mean, I've been on my time frame, I say like 2018 was whenever I started to live consciously and live with an actual awareness of how my way of being affected the world and affected the people around me. And it was when I decided to just really start listening to my gut. Because throughout my life, like my gut has like told me to do things and I didn't listen to it and didn't always go great. And I know that that's like the central component of me being able to tap into that abundance and expansiveness. So 2018 is when I started that journey. And so I'd say since then, it's just been growing. My spiritual net worth has just been growing, because prior to that time, had you have asked me what my spiritual net worth was, I might not have even known what you were talking about enough to be able to answer the question. I don't think.
No doubt. For speaking personally for myself, like 6 years ago and beyond, you know, I may not have even understood how to answer that question, and I was definitely living in a way. In some ways, I was really fortunate at a really young age to kind of like be connected to my inner calling vocationally very young, and made a lot of, I think, courageous and difficult decisions to kind of like trust my talent and trust kind of like certain parts of myself, and went all in on those parts of myself and made big decisions to like do things, risky things. And in some ways it felt like I was really kind of in some ways living that dream of knowing from the outside, living who I was, but there was a whole nother side of me that I wasn't, there was a whole like kind of inner spiritual, personal right side of myself where I was still living in a lot of fear, and I was living in a lot of denial of myself and who I was and what I wanted in life and really how I wanted to be in the world. And that all definitely came to a head, you know, like, and I had a reckoning with that. I wasn't living right. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't sustaining myself, you know, in so many ways. I was perfecting, performing, and pleasing for a lot of people in my work, even though I was doing what I love. So, yeah, that was a big deal for me. And so I've experienced like dramatic weight loss and a lot of like physical transformations and things like that. So it's been a constant journey, but I didn't understand what it all was until like really just the last few years, you know, of really kind of understanding how to bring that all together. Yeah. And being around people, you know, like Leslie showed me so much in my life about, you know, like we've grown together, right? And having those people in their lives, and then us making decisions on how to grow had manifested other people, right, in our lives that help us grow, and that's that process. But it's been a journey, you know, to get to where we are right now, and there's still a lot of a journey ahead of us. But yeah. And it's never too late. It's never too late, and you're never too far in one way or the other to come back to center, you know? Yeah, never.
That's very interesting that you mentioned how you were, like you said, you're gifted at a young age, and you were blessed to be in a position to where you can do what brought you alive.
Right.
But it didn't, kind of, you know, using my own words here, it didn't necessarily bring you alive because it wasn't connecting to certain parts of you, at least the whole part of you.
There was certain parts of me that I was denying during that time that didn't allow it to really sink in, you know what I mean? It didn't allow, you know, I had to like disconnect from that to reconnect to it in a more healthy way, right? So there was a lot of things that I had to disconnect from, right, in order to reconnect to them in a way that was more centered, more balanced, more who I am. Yeah.
I think there's a definite moral or a lesson from that story that just because you're physically doing something or visibly doing something that looks good or sounds good, feels good.
Yep.
Something I talked about before on another episode was that, I've only done one other episode before this one, so you guys are my first guests. But something I talked about before is that like you can have a certain number in your bank account, you can have a certain area code, but can you fill that with things that are actually important?
Yes.
Can you use that money for something that is actually worthwhile? And I just that's where I'm coming from now a lot now is asking what the real question is, not just a thing, you know, like cool, I have a coffee cup, what's filled inside of it, kind of like your metaphor about the cup always filling with more energy. I love that.
Yeah.
So we got to wrap this up though, because I know we can talk forever and ever and ever, and I love
Part
this.
2.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But what is your offer? What do you guys have to offer the world?
Yeah, so I think our main offer that we have available is our guided discovery process. And that's what we'd mentioned earlier with the coaching. So it's a 6-week, pretty intensive process where we have workbooks developed that we go through with people, and then we give whoever we're working with life work. So it's a lot. It can be as much work or as little work as people want, but we found that the people that engage in the process, they really give it their all. And they make a lot of discoveries along the way. And then that usually informs projects after that, creative projects, design projects, things that just kind of emerge along the way. And then our other offers are our retreats. So we just sold out our first in-person retreat of this year in New Harmony, Indiana, which is so exciting.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so we'll have some more retreat dates available soon, but we're in the middle of some big transitions between locations and things that we're excited to share soon. So we also have, I think our other offering is we have a community platform. So that's free to join, and we share free access to mastermind series, speaker series of recordings that we do, similar to a podcast, but we do it on video. Like we told you earlier, we aren't hip to the podcast setup just yet. And there's that, and then we send out a monthly reflection that's a long form, basically storytelling. And we have reduced rate offerings available for community members. And
signing up for the community is free.
Yep, it's free. And anyone that listens to this, and if they let us know that they found us through the Spiritual Net Worth, we'll give them 10% off of any coaching services too. So
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, cool.
Yeah.
I think this is an awesome conversation.
Yeah,
I'm very glad
thank
to have had this. And like I said, I know we can do this over and over and over again and keep talking about new things and updated things and just dive into, you're mentioning your experiences, like the coffee thing. We can go a whole 40 minutes on just our experiences, like talk about cigars and coffee and all that good stuff. We can talk about activity for a prolonged period of time, and all the lessons that can come out of that individually as well is so interesting. Like we talk about our work, we talk about our passions and all those things. So I'm having a lot of ideas. You guys inspire me.
Same.
Yes.
Same.
And this is our first really thing that we're doing. We had a big day of family gatherings yesterday, but this is the first, like, it's Monday morning. It's 7 a.m. New Year. This is,
wow.
I mean, this is jump starting my year right now, Joshua. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is.
I woke up tired, and I just wanted to keep sleeping.
Yeah,
and I'm like, we're going to do this, and I'm here, and I'm energized and ready. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Cool, that's it. Thank you guys.
Awesome.